Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's video break. Psalm 45 verse 10 says, "Listen, daughter, and pay careful attention. Forget your people and your father's house." Now that might sound a little bit harsh. Forget your people and your father's house. But did you notice what he said at the very beginning? He said, listen, listen. It is so imperative that as children of God, as daughters and sons of the King, we begin to have our ear. Faith comes through hearing. But not only does faith is a continual growth. And so we need to allow our ears to become so attentive to what God is saying that we recognize very quickly when he's not speaking to us. And so there's one way to do that is get very familiar, get ingrained, get the word of God in you and use it as your resource for life. I say this all the time, and I say it to blue in my face that, man, if the word of God is not in you, then some other word is living and making those decisions for you. And so allow the word of God to get in such a way that you're consumed with it to where it becomes, when you hear you're a daughter of the Lord, you're not shocked anymore. You've accepted it as your reality. Now he's asking you to do some things in this passage as daughters, to forget your fathers, forget your, it's almost like, what do you mean? Here's what he's saying. Forget the old image of who you were at one time. The words, the untruths that were, maybe you walked in for a bit. Maybe you walked in sin for a little bit. Maybe your identity became all messed up into the world and you were lost. And so it led you to do some things that you would no longer do. And so we labeled each other with those labels. And so he's saying, forget the old and walk into the new. Let go of the things that you were once tied to, that tied you to sin, and accept the reality that you are a child of the King. You are a child of God. Now, how do we do this? We get the intake every single day of our life. We allow the Word of God to replenish what the world is pouring out of us. You get filled up when you get into the Word of God. You get you get encouraged and you get strengthened, and then surround yourself with like-minded believers that are believing in you as a daughter of the King. If you don't go to a church that preaches the Word of God, friends, get away, run away. Find a place where you're hearing the Word of God and you're paying attention, you're listening, because the Lord has a lot to say to you on a daily basis, a lot. But are we paying attention? Are we listening? And it doesn't matter how long you've walked with the Lord, he's speaking. If it's one day, if you just reconciled your life, if you just began your new walk with Christ, or if you've been walking with 50 years, God is still speaking. Listen.